excavating, trucking, mass grading, and site prep, Brent is the place to call. To set up a quote or learn more, call Brent Excavating at 402-474-4113 or go to BrentExcavating.com. They're also hiring, so join the team today. Brent Excavating, a part of the Bauer brand, who reminds you, go Big Brent!
Hey, it's Sean Callahan, and football season is here, and there is one place that has all the games, plus great food and beer specials. Tanner's Bar and Grill at 30th and Yankee Hill. Whether it's Thursday night football, college football Saturdays, NFL Sundays, or Monday night football, there's a great view of the game from any seat with different food and drink specials every night. Try the Blue Ribbon Reuben Sandwich or the Prime Rib French Dip or any of their famous chicken wings. That's Tanner's Bar and Grill at 30th and Yankee Hill.
John Henry's would like to remind you, if you haven't already, to unhook your outdoor hoses and check faucets for leaks so your pipes don't freeze. As the official plumber of the Huskers, you know who to call when a plumbing issue arises. From frozen pipes to clogged drains, we can help you protect your home this winter. Give
John Henry's
a call today to schedule at
435-5555. John Henry's Plumbing, Heating and Air.
School taught you all about the 4 seasons, spring, summer, and so on. And then there's the way we really tell what time of year it is in sports seasons. Football season, baseball season, or off season. But what's the chocolate season? Well, it's now. And now, and now, and always. Whether you're looking for a caffeinated pick-me-up on the way to work, a little snack on the way home, or you need the perfect gift that's sure to be appreciated, it's time for the chocolate season. 40th and Old Cheney, or order ahead at thechocolateseason.com.
My dream was to work in commercial banking, but it required a college degree and I didn't have one. I found out that Doane had classes for adult learners on the Lincoln campus and online. So I earned my bachelor's degree, and 5 months later, I landed my dream job. I decided to continue my education, and now I'm working on my MBA at Doane. For me, the Doane experience has been life-changing.
Ever wish you had another light switch on the other side of the room on a dark night? How much better would you sleep at night if you had a ceiling fan in your room? The High Electric Service Department is here to make your electrical what-ifs a reality. Whether you're looking to replace some outdated light fixtures or brighten up your counters with under-cabinet lighting, High Electric can handle all types of residential electrical installations and services. Give Erica a call at 402-466-6606 or visit high-electric.com to get started. Brown Shoe Fit has all types of shoes for you to excel this fall. Check out their large variety of tennis shoes and dress shoes in brands like Brooks, Hoka, Merrell, On, and many more. Browns has the local professionals to get the proper fit, aided by their high-tech foot scanner by Aetrex. Stop by Brown Shoe Fit today, just south of 66th and Q in Lincoln, or check out their options online at brownshoefitco.com.
This is where it happens. Long hikes with friends, kayaking adventures with family, more horseback riding, zipline gliding, rock face climbing, hammock camping fun than you could ever imagine. And it's all outdoors, amongst the trees and across the prairie, here beneath Nebraska skies. Plan an outing today at yournebraskaadventure.com. Sponsored by Nebraska Game and Parks, aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
This is On the Block with Strick and Austin. Nebraska Basketball Hall of Famer and 9-year NBA vet, Erick Strickland.
Strickland for three! And you're going to go out of here as the Big 8 tournament champion.
Middle school basketball coaching legend and Duke basketball shooting coach in his mind, Austin Orman. Coming at you live from the heart of Lincoln, America. On air and online at theticketfm.com. Brought to you by Mary Ellen's Food for the Soul. This is On the Block with Strick and Austin.
Welcome to it on a beautiful Friday here in the capital city, Lincoln, Nebraska. Heart of America. Heart of the Nebraska-Creighton rivalry. We're going to be talking plenty about that here throughout the show. Stricky, you good? You good over there, my guy?
Wrong pipe.
Need a drink?
Ooh.
I can hold it down so you get some water.
I'm good.
Okay. Well, yeah, he's Erick Strickland. I'm Austin Norman. Guy that knows a thing or two about the Nebraska-Creighton rivalry.
Sometimes.
Being from Omaha.
Never lost. Oh.
Woo! Woo, Stricky.
I refuse.
Stricky.
I refused. It was I just couldn't feel I could go back home and play in this Idleman Summer League and play ball in the summer, knowing that Creighton had beat. No, couldn't. I refused. Yeah.
Keep passing that on. Pass that juju, pass that mojo, that energy.
You just don't understand the frustrations I went through over the years, just watching it continuously. Now, I do support them when they're not, obviously, we're not going against us, but, I've had great friends that have, played there and, known over the years. And so that is a support. I actually wanted them to win in the tournament. I think I had them going pretty deep in the tournament. I was one of the ones that picked Purdue out by the second round on my tournament.
Did. You should be proud of that call.
I called that. I was like, they going out. But I'm looking forward to this year, man. It's an exciting year. And this game is going to be one of the best eye tests that you can put on to see where Nebraska really is. Whether they win or lose, you'll still be able to see it, right? Because you'll be able to just see parts of the why as to why it didn't happen. Not that they don't need a whole bunch of changes on this Nebraska team. They just need to do certain things continuously well and be consistent in it, and they'll have long-term success, not just one game success.
We'll keep talking about this game in our next segment. We'll get to Nebraska football first. Some news coming out of the football program. But we want to make sure we mention Mary Ellen's Food for the Soul. Really appreciate Charles, everyone down there at 29th and Pine Lake here in Lincoln for sponsoring the show. They are open today. And one guy that has plenty of money now to spend at Mary Ellen's Food for the Soul, as long as he can find the time, which he should, because it's that good. Tony White, Nebraska's defensive coordinator, seems like he's in the building for at least another year. He got a pay bump streak. He was making $1 million coming into this year, now making 1.6. And that's a big deal because he's now the highest paid assistant in Nebraska football history.
Yeah, in the history of the team. One of the beautiful things about him is, he's a nominee in 2022 and 2023 for the Broyles Award, which is the top assistant in the college game. That's a tremendous honor. Those are the type of things that you want to see coming out of Nebraska. Also, going forward, you just want to see more selections to the all Big Ten type of team. And you want to start seeing that because those are things you can sell. Those are things you can talk about. Those are, it's tough to go back and really go back into history and begin to try to have those conversations because a lot of those kids of today are not born. They don't even know outside of them showing highlights of it, but it's still a different style of what they're used to seeing and have been used to seeing over the years. So you want to continue to create stories and things that you can sell.
And Tony White, his defense was a great story, a top 20 unit by pretty much all accounts, top 15 in some categories, knocking on the door of being in the top 10. Big for Nebraska to retain him. Because it builds that continuity, right? I don't think that if Tony White was leaving, I'm not sure Ty Robinson would be back. Not sure Nash Hutmacher would be back. Now, there are plenty of other guys with decisions to make. And, position coach Terrence Knight, let's not write him off as well. But I think Tony White's leadership, the way he connected with his players, got them to buy into this new scheme from day one. Strick, you and I heard the questions all the time on this show. What's the 3-3-5? Is it going to work in the Big Ten? Only 3 linemen seems like that's not a good recipe for success against these big, powerful, strong Big Ten teams. And this defense was up to the task. Now, got to get a little bit better. But I think Tony White more than deserves the pay bump. If Nebraska wanted to keep him around, they had to make it worth his while to stick around financially. I just love this move for next year's team to be able to keep some of that continuity with the lessons they learned this year to take that step next year.
Yeah, and that's exactly right. And again, I think one of the things that you can look at this defense and assess, it's a fun style, right? I think any young man with some talent, it looks like they've recruited pretty well talent-wise at different positions. Got some, some seem quality. They have the star numbers, but do they have, the talent numbers? And you can tell that there's development. I can tell that there's development happening on that side of the ball because I was looking at different techniques. There were some times where I'd wonder, well, dang, you have inside leverage on the corner You have great. How in this specific instance are you letting an inside release? Like, just little things like that. But I can still tell that where they were positioned, they were right. A lot of their tackling, a lot of their approach to the ball, instead of a lot of diving at feet and diving at ankles as they've done in the past, it's a corral. Like, he can't get by me. He's got to either go through us, and it's a technique to that, as two people are approaching the ball so that you don't bump each other off. You know what I mean? So I could tell there was development there.
That you could. Now the next step is go from being fundamentally sound to making more big plays. We talked about it all year. The reason I think the salary is interesting too, Strick, is that Matt Rule was given a $7 million pool when he came in to hire his assistants. Tony White made $1 million last year. Marcus Satterfield made 1.4, which made him the highest paid assistant in Nebraska history up until today, when Tony White got that pay bump. But before those two guys, Strick, it was Nebraska's previous offensive coordinator, Mark Whipple, who was the highest paid assistant coach in program history. Whipple's offense, wasn't great. We had a lot of questions about it. We talked about last year. Developed, Trey Palmer into a great player. His connection with Casey Thompson, that was really the extent of that offense. We talked ad nauseum, because it did actually make us sick to talk about the Nebraska football offense this last year at some times, and Marcus Satterfield. But of the three most recent men to have had the title of highest paid assistant in Nebraska football history, Tony White's unit proved that he deserved to be the guy with that title. It's just money, but it's money. It sends a message. It says, this is what we think about you. So I think Rule, having not used that full pool of $7 million, dipped into that pool to give this pay bump and gave it to a more than deserving coordinator.
Yeah, no doubt. And it goes to show if you perform, if you're doing what you're supposed to do and handling your business in whatever respect that is, then you will be rewarded for it. You've got to also like what Rule has done. It's smart, it's wise, because I think as you look at Oregon, as you look at Michael Penix, and there's one other quarterback. Oh, Quinn Ewers. What he did in that press conference by notating what is needed in the portal, how to get it, and what it's going to take to obtain it. When you look at what Rule did there, it is great subliminal messaging, right? Because at the end of the day, I know what you want, you know what's needed. Now, how can we go get it? Here is how. It's continuously showing a plan. He understands the dynamic, but you also, if that's what you want, you got to help me. So I love the subliminal message and the way he went about it.
Yeah, he's saying we both want the same thing.
Yeah.
We both want to be successful. Me, because it's my livelihood. I'm the head coach. You supporters, you want a good team to root for, to have that pride, to walk around with your chest puffed out a little bit. Here's how we make this happen. Okay. Yeah, it's on me. I'm the head football coach. But if you want to have, some feeling of ownership in this program, like you did something to help, here's how. And that's something we talked about a little bit with the NIL. What kind of, player is Nebraska, the Fortune 500 or the, mom and pop shop? We talked about that yesterday. Yeah. If you missed that, if you missed WTF from last night, Teach Tape Tuesday, all sorts of stuff, make sure you check out our podcast wherever you get them. But I do wonder too, Strick, we had a couple comments on the text line yesterday of, why are you spending money on a new stadium? Go spend money on players. Well, I think a lot of Nebraska's boosters are still used to giving to the school instead of to the collective. The school can't give the money to the players to that degree, to that magnitude, that publicly. I wonder if we start to see a shift, or if there's more of a messaging shift from Nebraska, like, hey, just because you're not writing your checks to the same place, it's still going to help this football program, even though it's going to a different address. It's going to the players. Maybe you're used to writing it to the school. That's what you've always done. But where we could use your help is put this money in the bank for NIL so we can go get players instead of facilities.
Great point. But let me throw another one your way. Look, I'm not advocating that this is the case, but I'm going to throw this out, right? If I'm Coach Rule and I want absolute buy-in, like if it was me, right? One of the things that we've got to do, if we're businessmen, let's just take it out of the sports realm. Let's just put it in the business realm right now, right? It's reinvesting into our business, right?
Mm-hmm.
If I'm an entrepreneur, I'm a business owner. Yes, I could take all the money out,
Sit on it.
I can sit on it, I
Mm-hmm.
could do it, I can live, I could, do grandiose things or whatever the case is, right? But at the end of the day, I get back out of it what I put into it. Here's where I'm going. He is the beneficiary of a double dip, what we would call in the NBA. A double dip is someone has a nice large contract. They go for a negotiation to get out of that contract. They're able to go to another team and double dip. So they're still being paid off the last contract plus the other one. So they're double dipping. So for me, here's the thing. If I'm not him, but if I was Matt Rule, right? I would take into account that $60 million that I have. I would make note somehow in inner circles that I'm reinvesting into Nebraska too.
Mm-hmm.
I need you to match me.
Mm.
You understand?
So it's not you footing all the bill.
It's not all you.
Yeah.
But I'm willing to do this myself.
Mm-hmm.
Like if I'm him and I want absolute buy-in, if I was in that position and I had that on the side, that is probably a way that I possibly would go about doing it.
I think that makes a lot of sense. I think that'd be a great way to show that you're bought in, you're here for the long haul, and that it's not all on other people to fix your problems, that you're taking ownership of it, and this is your program. You want to put your stamp on it, and everyone together is, in it and can be a part of it. He's Erick Strickland. I'm Austin Norman. This is On the Block on 93.7 The Ticket. Off and rolling here during On the Block on a Friday. When we get back, we'll talk Nebraska Creighton. Huge game for Nebraska. Creighton did end up winning last night on the road at Oklahoma State. We'll talk about their bounce back. We'll talk about some key matchups and stakes for both teams. What does this game coming up Sunday afternoon mean for both sides? If you have any thoughts on it, let us know at 402-464-5685. That is the Starter Heyman text line, as well as the Honda of Lincoln hotline. We'll be back in just a sec here on the Block.
Don't miss the most innovative ag technology that exists today on display in Lincoln at the Nebraska Ag Expo, the second largest indoor ag show in the U.S., December 5th, 6th, and 7th. Check out all the latest technology in row crop and livestock production, robotics, and more at the expanded Innovation Hub. Mark your calendar. That's December 5th, 6th, and 7th. Register online at NebraskaAgExpo.com to get your tickets in advance and save $5. See you in Lincoln. The Nebraska Ag Expo is sponsored in part by Farm Credit Services of America and Ag Direct.
Ever wish you had another light switch on the other side of the room on a dark night? How much better would you sleep at night if you had a ceiling fan in your room? The High Electric Service Department is here to make your electrical what-ifs a reality. Whether you're looking to replace some outdated light fixtures or brighten up your counters with under-cabinet lighting, High Electric can handle all types of residential electrical installations and services. Give Erica a call at 402-466-6606 or visit high-electric.com to get started.
This is Brian at Midwest Bank, and we've been proudly serving clients in the Lincoln community since 2008, and we're excited to open a second location in January 2024 at 70th and Pioneers Boulevard. Our new branch will provide all the convenient services you're looking for in a bank, along with the friendly staff we're known for. Whether you're starting a business or expanding your business, our team is here for you, your community, your bank, Midwest Bank. Find out more at midwestbank.com, member FDIC.
Brown Shoe Fit has all types of shoes for you to excel this fall. Check out their large variety of tennis shoes and dress shoes in brands like Brooks, Hoka, Merrell, On, and many more. Browns has the local professionals to get the proper fit, aided by their high-tech foot scanner by Atrex. Stop by Brown Shoe Fit today, just south of 66th and Q in Lincoln, or check out their options online at brownshoefitco.com.
Action Plumbing, Heating, Air, and Electric is the call I make when I have a need for plumbing services. Whether it's for my home or office, if I need a repair to a water heater, softener, or even my garbage disposal, I know I can count on Action to help. In one simple call, their amazing customer service team promptly schedules a service call, often getting to my needs within a day. Action delivers honest, quality services we can count on. To learn more, visit actionlincoln.com.
School taught you all about the four seasons: spring, summer, and so on. And then there's the way we really tell what time of year it is in sports seasons: football season, baseball season, or off season. But what's the chocolate season? Well, it's now. And now, and now, and always. Whether you're looking for a caffeinated pick-me-up on the way to work, a little snack on the way home, or you need the perfect gift that's sure to be appreciated, it's time for the chocolate season. 40th and Old Cheney, or order ahead at thechocolatseason.com.
My dream was to work in commercial banking, but it required a college degree and I didn't have one. I found out that Doane had classes for adult learners on the Lincoln campus and online. So I earned my bachelor's degree, and 5 months later, I landed my dream job. I decided to continue my education, and now I'm working on my MBA at Doane. For me, the Doane experience has been life-changing.
Are you looking for some holiday fun? This year, start a new tradition. Make the Nebraska Christmas Lights Show experience an annual event for your family and a cherished memory to look forward to every year. From Black Friday to January 3rd, buckle up and tune into the rhythm of the lights and let the magic of Christmas take over with the show. Now located at Star City Shores, just off of 27th and Highway 2. Buy your tickets for just $20 or $25 per car today at NebraskaChristmasLightShow.com.
If you're not going to Memorial Stadium for a home game and don't have any travel plans for away games, there's a great place in Omaha to catch the action: the Inner Rail Food Hall. There's plenty of space. The Backstretch Bar has amazing game specials on game days: $15 Blue Moon and Bud Light pitchers, $6 margaritas, and $6 Moscow Mules. And if you're hungry, take in some of their great options from their game day pizza specials. Do football game day right in the Inner Rail Food Hall in Exarban Village in Omaha.
Where will your path take you, traveler? To seek fortune in a new career, or on a journey to distant lands for a well-deserved vacation? Wherever you go, one distraction could spell disaster. You can change your fate, adventurer. Don't drive distracted. Paid for by the NDOT Highway Safety Office.
Big box stores are tempting for buying equipment for your high schooler in sports or for yourself in your sports leisures. But buying new is awfully expensive. Why not go somewhere with new and used options? Play It Again Sports has quality, slightly to gently used equipment, and 50% of their inventory is actually new equipment. And it's more than baseball, softball, and golf. They also have equipment for disc golf, fitness, hockey, and more. Plus, they're always buying products. Bring your gear you're done with and get trade money on the spot. Play It Again Sports at 48th and Vine.
Working at Continental in Lincoln isn't a job, it's a career. And right now, they've raised wages again, and they're hiring for production operators at $24.62 per hour, which grows to $28.97 per hour within 3 years. Skilled trade positions now start at $33.36 per hour, with opportunities to make more based on certifications. Continental also has salary jobs available and great benefits, plus medical and prescription costs at very low premiums. Dental, vision, and life insurance are offered at no premium cost to the associates, with increased bonuses and vacation for new hires. To learn more or apply, go to continentaljobs.com with keyword Lincoln. Come work at Continental today.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Brought to you by Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
The Lincoln forecast for today, expecting cloudy skies. A few sprinkles and flurries are possible throughout the day. Otherwise, we'll see high around 37. Tonight, probably cloudy with a low around 20. And tomorrow, probably sunny skies with a slight chance of rain and snow, especially in the afternoon. We'll see high around 40. I'm meteorologist Kyle Klecker from 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Now back to On the Block with Strick and Austin on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
This is On the Block with Austin Orman, myself, and himself, Erick Strickland. We're getting into Nebraska Creighton. That's right. It's time. We get the annual matchup between the Huskers and the Blue Jays on Sunday afternoon, 3 o'clock tip-off from Pinnacle Bank Arena. Strick, you'll be in for postgame for that one, right?
Yeah, I'll be working with Mel B and Tom Stevens on the postgame for that.
Perfect. Make sure you're tuned in during the game. Obviously, we have ticket weekends going on Sunday, but definitely after the game for analysis. Let's start with the matchup, Strick. Let's start with the game itself. As you look at Nebraska trying to match up with Creighton on the defensive end, who is the key? Who's the guy that Nebraska needs to cut off and stop first? Who's the first option for Creighton?
Well, obviously, I think he's not one of them is he's not a dominant force as far as scoring wise, but he is someone who can do damage because he's going to secure the middle. He's going to look at blocking shots, and that's Kalkbrenner. Like rebounding. Then you have also, obviously a versatile guy in Isaac Trout. I still think he's a little bit away, but I'm not going to overly downplay his potential, coming, being at home, this rivalry to him, obviously from the state.
Right.
This will be a big game for him, closer to his home than even at Creighton at this point. Obviously, you gotta deal with Alexander as well. That'll be next. So it's going to be interesting to see who they would throw on him. Personally, I would think that they would probably throw Juwan Gary or someone type at him. Juwan may not start. If Juwan doesn't start, then you probably throw Bryce on him. I think that makes sense in that matchup there. I love our length against them. I think we have just a little bit more. They do have size, but I think they're young. They're still trying to figure it out. They don't really, to me, still have a point guard that they probably feel that one of the biggest missing pieces for them is definitely Nebhart, losing him. But so we'll see what they bring. Outside of them shooting, they're a team that seems to me rebounding, shooting. If they don't shoot well, similar to what happened last year against them and with Iowa, like if you're able to just really guard and rebound the first one, second chance points, rebounds is normally where you get hurt the most, especially on kickouts and then, scrambles and stuff like that. And you end up with another good shot, which normally the percentages go up as that happens. So that's why first rebound, that's why he talked about physicality. That's why I talked about hitting people, where you heard from Fred Hoiberg on that. So that's kind of where I look at it at this point.
Nebraska was really good last year against Creighton in doubling Kalkbrenner when he caught it in the post and then flying around. A lot of recovery. Nebraska did a good job kind of in that scramble drill. And yeah, Creighton didn't shoot it well. And that's a good way to, beat it as you make that pass quick, get it in rhythm and knock the shot down. Do you employ that same strategy if you're Nebraska, double the post, make Kalkbrenner kick it out and move the ball? Or do you stick to shooters and say, well, let Ryan Kalkbrenner take the ball in the post being guarded by rank master Josiah Alec. He'll get his, but we're not going to let the guards get heated up from three.
I would probably throw Alec on him with a little bit more physicality, not letting him get to his spot, good feet. I like Rink Mass. I would prefer Rink Mass to weak side rebound. And not necessarily be challenging because he doesn't have a lot of lift, so it'll be just a lot of hand challenging. But I think Alec would be able to move his feet, get to a spot, elevate, and challenge. So I would like those matchups a little bit better.
Are you sticking Jamarcus Lawrence on Baylor Shireman to start and put Casey on just a spot up shooter like a Mason Miller? How do you guard Shireman?
Yeah, I think Shireman's not gonna in most cases take you to the post and do different things. They may try to throw a wrinkle in there knowing that's the case. But the thing on the other side of things is Shireman's got to cover too.
Yep.
So don't look at it from a standpoint of worry on that aspect. Just make sure you put a body on him, keep him from getting extra possessions and attacking the glass. But I would prefer good feet, someone who can crowd him and force him, obviously, to his right hand more so than his left. Don't let him get strong. And just let it be what it may. Just continue to be there, challenge, but be able to crowd him and force him to put the ball on the floor and do some things with it that maybe he doesn't want to do.
On the offensive side for Nebraska, you mentioned, Shireman has to guard too. I think Nebraska can take advantage there. I think if what you're saying is true, and I have no reason to believe it wouldn't be, if Bryce Williams is guarding Trey Alexander, I assume the same would be true on the opposite end. Trey Alexander's a pretty good defender, so I wouldn't necessarily force feed Bryce Williams. To me, Strick, the key is who's Casey guarded by? Does he have a quickness advantage to get some shots off? And then how do you use Rink Mast on offense? You saw what Derek Walker did last year is really get into Kalkbrenner's chest, got him in some foul trouble, and used that physical nature against him because Derek Walker was thicker, a little bit stronger, completely negated the shot blocking ability. I think Ring Mask can do that. Maybe Josiah can do that. but I also think rink mass jump shot is going to be huge. Can you get Kalkbrenner away from the rim, force some of those back cuts and drives from other guys?
That's it. Yeah, you're right on it. I can only concur with that. I think that's a huge component of it. But I will answer a question off the Sutter Heyman text line. Brad from Baldwin says, Strick, refresh my memory. Who were some of the Creighton's top players when you played? Latrell Wrightsell was one there, the original. Obviously, his son now is at Alabama. Was at Cal State Fullerton. That would have been beautiful to watch him if he would have been at Cal State. He was the guy for Cal State. He would have came in here and tried to put on a show. But it would have been Latrell. It was a guy by the name of DeJuan Cole, tremendous point guard, strong there. Rodney Buford, who ended up playing a lot of years in the league. He played with Allen Iverson, also down in Miami. A guy named big body, big board guy named Randall Crutcher. He's still local here. Married a Bellevue West girl, by the way. Shout out to Randall Crutcher. And so there were some guys like that. Gallagher and they had some bigs that were just very fundamentally sound, but outside of Rodney Buford, there was really no one I felt was a worry or threat. So I went at him as a young fella. I always tried to intimidate guys. I'm like, I got him. I got him. Like when like I told you that Oklahoma State had Brooks Thompson and everybody was hyping him up and talking about, I was like, I got him. And I like ripped him like twice at midcourt and had 2 dunks and just set the tone for what the night was going to be for him. You know what I mean? So that was kind of my mission. Chauncey Billups did him the same way as a young freshman. I had to, I got a little bit of time against Paul, but not as much. But Paul was tough. Regardless, Paul had always been tough. You saw what Al Harrington did to me when he pushed me away. It was like, get out of here. I was like, okay, I'm gonna let you take this eyeball sandwich today.
Don't put that on me then, Al.
Yeah. So Derek and Carr, Gallagher, those are Harstad. That was it, Harstad. Yeah, those guys were just fundamentally sound guys, good bodies. A lot of, they looked a lot like I want to say McHale. They had kind of McHale-ish type games. A lot of up and unders. Get into you. They were solid.
Who is that tone setter for Nebraska on Sunday? Who's it got to be?
I think it's got to be the physicality part. So I'm going to look for Juwan Gary and guys like that to just really be physical, rebound. I think the transition game with Jamarcus is going to be key as well. Getting into just really pushing them because I don't think they have the depth that Nebraska does. So you want to get into them legs a little bit and make it tough for them to be able to, just be able to tee up shots and just really stay after them actively all night.
I think you're spot on with that. If you look at Creighton's depth, there's really not a lot. They'll probably start Shireman, Alexander, Kalkbrenner, Ashworth, and Mason Miller, who just came back, which leaves them Trout off the bench, maybe Frederick King, and then Francisco Farabello, who had a really good game. I think Dotzler's still coming along. Jason Green's played some spot minutes here and there, but Creighton's really only
about 6 or 7
deep for guys that Coach McDermott trusts, whereas Nebraska, we talked about this earlier in the week, Strick, can go 9 or 10.
Facts.
So run with Creighton, but the other thing is be physical, right? We know this is a good offensive team. Creighton has the 9th best offensive rating in the country right now. Nebraska's also top 25, but we know Creighton has that track record of success on the offensive end. I feel more confident in Nebraska's ability to put up points with Creighton and not necessarily have to slow this game down and grind it out. But I want to see Nebraska at least try, right? If it's going to be a track meet, make Creighton use 20, 25 seconds off the shot clock. Make them work for their shots. Don't let them get those early offense, drive and kick, trail 3, stuff like that.
Exactly. Yeah, just take away the things that would make them comfortable, make everything uncomfortable for them. And obviously, half-court offense under duress, meaning, look, they're going to – Coach McDormand is a good coach, so he's going to try to figure out a way to exploit their downing defense. What I mean by their downing defense is Nebraska's goal is to not allow a lot of middle penetration dribbles.
So why you see Nebraska's guys when they when an opponent catches the ball in the corner. Super shade baseline.
They super shade. And so that's to minimize any rotational miscommunications. Everybody then, if they're going down, knows where they're supposed to be in rotation. It's a great simplified method on the defensive side. It's one that can always account for accountability. And, I remember when we didn't do it, we used to get punished. Like they're stat tracking. We was track all the times where you allowed middle dribbles. It's going to happen sometimes. There's just things that are going to allow it to happen. But when you're on just a natural closeout, there's a way to close out just to make sure, you don't give direct line drives, and you also force them to the help. And that's where the help is, usually on that baseline side. So McDermott's going to try to exploit that, whether it be
how, what does he look?
What he's going to do is he's going to have the guys are going to soft drive. If you understand what I mean by soft drive, they're going to not necessarily be actively pursuing shot on it. So they're going to be either pursuing to mid-range before they get to big, or they're going to be half driving to stretch the big. So they're going to go and they're going to try to pull out, and they're going to look cross court. On the cross court pass, because the defense has got to shift for rotational purposes, on the cross court pass, it's going to be a hard closeout. Then there's corner. Those are the shots. Look out, mark my words, that this Creighton team is going to be looking to take during this game. It's going to be that way, I think.
It's not so much what you're saying, that first pass out of it. It's the next play and the next pass after that, where it's hard to make that second rotation. Is that fair?
Yeah, they're not setting. They're not going to be setting up anything strong side. So Nebraska's got to be ready to make an adjustment on what they're going to do in their rotations and be anticipating it, so that you don't get hit by a 8-10-0 run or something like that just because you're not able to cover it.
Which Creighton can do to any team in a heartbeat. We've seen it before out of the Blue Jays. Should be a good matchup. We'll take a break here. Wrap up hour one with the stakes. What does a win mean for Creighton? But hopefully, what does a win mean for Nebraska? Let's hope to be talking about that when we get back. Sunday night, obviously, for post game. And then again on Monday, Nebraska Creighton stakes when we get back to On the Block. Whether you're booking a trip to Lincoln for a football game or a volleyball weekend, the Scarlet Hotel at Innovation Campus is the place for you. The Scarlet Hotel is special on many levels, from the delicious Well and Good restaurant on the main floor to the coolest rooftop patio bar in Lincoln, the Barred Owl, on the top floor of the hotel with great views of the city and one of the coolest drink menus. Book your stay or book a staycation today at scarlethotelnebraska.com.
Hey, it's Sean Callahan, and football season is here, and there is one place that has all the games, plus great food and beer specials. Tanner's Bar and Grill at 30th and Yankee Hill. Whether it's Thursday night football, college football Saturdays, NFL Sundays, or Monday night football, there's a great view of the game from any seat with different food and drink specials every night. Try the Blue Ribbon Reuben Sandwich or the Prime Rib French Dip or any of their famous chicken wings. That's Tanner's Bar and Grill at 30th and Yankee Hill.
Where will your path take you, traveler? To seek fortune in a new career, or on a journey to distant lands for a well-deserved vacation? Wherever you go, one distraction could spell disaster. You can change your fate, adventurer. Don't drive distracted. Paid for by the NDOT Highway Safety Office.
Don't miss the most innovative ag technology that exists today, on display in Lincoln at the Nebraska Ag Expo, the second largest indoor ag show in the U.S., December 5th, 6th, and 7th. Check out all the latest technology in row crop and livestock production, robotics, and more at the expanded Innovation Hub. Mark your calendar. That's December 5th, 6th, and 7th. Register online at nebraskaagexpo.com to get your tickets in advance and save $5. See you in Lincoln. The Nebraska Ag Expo is sponsored in part by Farm Credit Services of America and Ag Direct.
Great news. I just got the State Farm Personal Price Plan on our home and auto insurance.
You told our agent about my thing for romance novels?
No, you don't have to get that personal. Our agent just helped me choose affordable options to create a personalized price just for us.
Oh, sweet. Then you won't believe the love triangle Jen is in now.
Call your local State Farm agent, Vinny Krekak, at 402-474-1173.
Prices vary by state. Options selected by customer. Availability and eligibility may vary.
A team succeeds when they work together. Banking's no different.
At UBT, we're in your corner for every financial move you want to make. Your money's backed by a roster of experts who put in the work to know you and your community. So whether you're opening a savings account, buying a home, or planning your future, you always know who to turn to. Working together toward your financial goals. That's a win in our playbook. Union Bank and Trust. Equal housing lender, member FDIC.
Are you looking for some holiday fun? This year, start a new tradition. Make the Nebraska Christmas Lights Show experience an annual event for your family and a cherished memory to look forward to every year. From Black Friday to January 3rd, buckle up and tune into the rhythm of the lights and let the magic of Christmas take over with the show. Now located at Star City Shores, just off of 27th and Highway 2. Buy your tickets for just $20 or $25 per car today at NebraskaChristmasLightShow.com.
School taught you all about the four seasons: spring, summer, and so on. And then there's the way we really tell what time of year it is in sports seasons: football season, baseball season, or off season. But what's the chocolate season? Well, it's now. And now, and now, and always. Whether you're looking for a caffeinated pick-me-up on the way to work, a little snack on the way home, or you need the perfect gift that's sure to be appreciated, it's time for the chocolate season. 40th and Old Cheney, or order ahead at thechocolatseason.com.
Today's agenda includes office meetings this morning, followed by a client lunch, then back to the office for another meeting, and ending the day with a presentation at a client's office. When you are on the go, you need an office phone that goes with you. At Hamilton, our business phone systems make it easy to sync your office phone features to your cell phone for quick and seamless call handling, no matter where you work. If your current office phone can't do this, you need better. Hire your local experts. Hire Hamilton at hamiltonisbusiness.com.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Brought to you by Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
The Lincoln forecast for today, expecting cloudy skies. A few sprinkles and flurries are possible throughout the day. Otherwise, we'll see high around 37. Tonight, probably cloudy with a low of around 20. And tomorrow, probably sunny skies with a slight chance of rain and snow, especially in the afternoon. We'll see high around 40. I'm meteorologist Kyle Klecker from 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Integrated Life Choices has been inspiring opportunities for individuals with disabilities for more than 15 years in Lincoln and across Nebraska by offering a number of services. From group homes to independent living resources and job training, you'll find the support that allows people to live fulfilling lives. They're also hiring. If you're looking for a rewarding career supporting people with developmental disabilities, you can check out open positions along with learning more about services at ilc.net. Integrated Life Choices.
Now back to On the Block with Strick and Austin on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
That's right. We're wrapping up hour one of On the Block. He's Erick Strickland. I'm Austin Orman. Stricky, we just got done talking about some matchups and some strategy for Nebraska Creighton, but what's at stake? Creighton suffered a big loss to Colorado State down in Kansas City. They bounced back, went on the road to Oklahoma State, and beat the Pokes last night. Nebraska's been off since Cal State Fullerton. Just one game of difference between these two teams in their record. Nebraska 7-0, Creighton at 6-1. For Creighton, I think it's kind of what Iowa had coming in football was revenge. Nebraska went on the road and won both places last year. Creighton's trying to do what Iowa did and, come back on the road, come down to Lincoln. And I'm sure in Creighton's mind, reassert itself, say, hey, this is an opportunity for a better win than we've had in some recent years against Nebraska. But I hope Nebraska comes out appropriately engaged and enthusiastic. My worry, Strick, is that there's so much being put on this game from the outside that Nebraska comes out too fired up, plays sloppy, plays outside of itself. My hope is that the cooler veteran heads prevail. They make the right play time after time. That, yes, maybe you need some excitement from Keisei Tominaga to hit a deep three to get PBA going. I don't think the moment is too big for Nebraska. I hope the moment isn't too big.
The way I'll say it is, I understand what you're saying. The approach to it definitely has to be just opportunity. This is opportunity. Like, don't look beyond anything other than this is just an opportunity for us to continue to showcase who we really are. So just go out and play the game with, passion, with desire, with honor, honoring the N on your chest and the university and represent. And don't change what you're to me, I think this game gets bad not for Nebraska by way of changing and trying to do something other than what you've been doing. If you can just continue to do what you've been doing, continue to share the ball, continue to not take bad shots, you rebound and win those things. You get back to the core of who you are, that you may have lost in the last few games. Is if you listen to Coach Hoiberg, if you just do that, I think you're going to put yourself in a chance. All you want to do in a game is give yourself a chance. You want to just put yourself in a chance that you have possession with an opportunity to win, or you're in the game and you're the last run. You just want to be in any of those spaces. So I think that's the way they've got to approach it. And yeah, don't get too hyped up. Don't get too nervous, because you just want to play your game.
Great opportunity for Nebraska at 3:00 on Sunday. Again, we'll have ticket weekends going during the game, then after the game. Stricky will be in for post-game. I'll probably pop my head in as well as I get back from Pinnacle Bank Arena. Another college basketball topic I want to throw out here real quick before the top of the hour, Strick. Bronny James got cleared yesterday. He had that cardiac issue over the summer, wasn't allowed to practice with the team. USC is off to a pretty solid start right now, but good to see Bronny James back. I guess it's a two-part question. Number one, on Bronny James, what are your expectations for him? And then number two, his dad, Big LeBron, has said when Bronny makes his debut, if there's a Lakers game that night, Bron's skipping it. He's going to Bronny's game. What do you make of that call and that decision?
For Bron?
Yeah.
For Big Bron, I think that's pretty dope. I think that's understandable as a organization. It's part of, as long as you don't miss your 65, you just understand that this is one of those. You've got things to consider if you've got goals. So I think that's pretty cool to do that. Now, being cleared, the expectation for if I'm Bronny, I'm just, how can I contribute? How can I be useful in whatever minutes that are gifted and given unto me? If I'm not, how can I support my team? I think just figure out a way that you can be supportive and help out your team. And if an opportunity presents itself, how can you be efficient and effective in the usage of that time that's given? I think that's the best thing you can hope for and expect. I think the good thing about Bronny is he plays that way anyway. He's
knows his role.
Yeah, he's a guy that, even with Sierra Canyon, he understood what his role was and what his position was and how to wait his time and not to overexert himself into the process. I think that's good for him. And so he'll come in, he'll pass, he'll share, he'll defend, he'll get in passing lanes, and if he does that, he'll be fine.
We'll wait and see. USC again sits at 5-2 on the season. Could always use more guard depth. Isaiah Collier in the running to go number one overall. Boogie Ellis went to Memphis at one point, transferred out to USC. He's their leading scorer, probably their best player so far, averaging 21.5 points per game. But again, we talk about it all the time. Guards in college basketball. So best of luck to Bronny James as he makes his return to action. Hope all the health issues are in the past for that young man. He's Erick Strickland. I'm Austin Norman. You're listening to On the Block here on 93.7 The Ticket. As we get into hour two, we'll talk some conference championship games. We gave our picks with Nick and with Rico in the crossover with Happy Hour Crew. But let's dive into a couple more of those games. What's interesting? What stands out? What are the stakes? And maybe even what do we predict the college football playoff to be, given what our picks for the games were. More On the Block comes your way next year on 93.7 The Ticket.
Gaina Trucking is hiring CDL Class A and B drivers. Gaina Trucking guarantees a 40-hour work week year-round, and their strong team culture makes it not a job, but a career. Gaina Trucking offers health, vision, and dental insurance, 401k with company match, an employee assistance program, and other bonus programs. Build a better career today with great team culture at Gaina Trucking. Learn more and apply today at GainaTrucking.com.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet. KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
Great news! I just got the State Farm personal price plan on our home and auto insurance.
You told our agent about my thing for romance novels?
No, you don't have to get that personal. Our agent just helped me choose affordable options to create a personalized price just for us.
Oh, sweet. Then you won't believe the love triangle Jen is in now.
Call your local State Farm agent Vinny Krekak at 402-474-1173.
Prices vary by state. Options selected by customer. Availability and eligibility may vary.
Working at Continental in Lincoln isn't a job, it's a career. And right now, they've raised wages again, and they're hiring for production operators at $24.62 per hour, which grows to $28.97 per hour within 3 years. Skilled trade positions now start at $33.36 per hour, with opportunities to make more based on certifications. Continental also has salary jobs available and great benefits, plus medical and prescription costs at very low premiums. Dental, vision, and life insurance are offered at no premium cost to the associates, with increased bonuses and vacation for new hires. To learn more or apply, go to continentaljobs.com with keyword Lincoln. Come work at Continental today.
My dream was to work in commercial banking, but it required a college degree and I didn't have one. I found out that Doane had classes for adult learners on the Lincoln campus and online. So I earned my bachelor's degree, and 5 months later, I landed my dream job. I decided to continue my education, and now I'm working on my MBA at Doane. For me, the Doane experience has been life-changing.
It's the best time of the year to order a new John Deere self-propelled windrower from Landmark Implement during the early order program. Hay harvest is a race against time. Order a new John Deere self-propelled windrower to harvest your hay quickly and efficiently while promoting quick dry down for high-quality hay. Now is the time to lock in the best price of the year. Contact your local Landmark location for full details on a new self-propelled windrower and experience the Landmark difference.
Constructors Inc., a Nebco company, is now hiring heavy equipment mechanics to maintain fleet equipment and vehicle operations. Constructors offers mechanics a competitive salary, 4-day work weeks with overtime options, a $5,000 hiring bonus, a tool allowance, and great benefits. Join the crew today and be a part of Nebraska's oldest paving company dating back to 1908. Apply today for their mechanic positions. Visit constructorslincoln.com.
At Koppel Chevrolet GMC, we are thankful for so many things this year, starting with our great employees, a generous community, our military personnel, and most importantly, our loyal customer base that continues to drive that money-saving mile of Louisville. Hi, this is Sean Callahan, and on behalf of everybody at Koppel, we want to wish you a happy Thanksgiving and safe travels to wherever they may take you. Happy holidays from Koppel Chevrolet GMC.
Brown Shoe Fit has all types of shoes for you to excel this fall. Check out their large variety of tennis shoes and dress shoes in brands like Brooks, Hoka, Merrell, On, and many more. Browns has the local professionals to get the proper fit, aided by their high-tech foot scanner by Atrex. Stop by Brown Shoe Fit today, just south of 66th and Q in Lincoln, or check out their options online at brownshoefitco.com. Leaves are falling and the temperatures are cooling down, but don't put your golf clubs away. Double Eagle Golf makes golf leagues and events possible year-round. Leagues are underway with winter leagues beginning on November 27th. Check out their deals on monthly memberships and schedule your Husker watch parties, birthday or bachelor parties, corporate and team outings, or just a good old Saturday with the boys. That's all at Double Eagle Golf, inside the Kinetic Sports Complex on West O Street. Book a tee time today or learn more at Double Eagle Golf. Start your Sundays off right with Jeff and Nicole Essink on Fitness Fanatics. Jeff and Nicole discuss health and wellness, how to achieve fitness goals, and more through the life of gym owners and gym goers. It's Fitness Fanatics from 9 to 11 a.m. on Sundays on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Sponsored by John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning.
The Lincoln forecast for today, expecting cloudy skies. A few sprinkles and flurries are possible throughout the day. Otherwise, we'll see high around 37. Tonight, probably cloudy with a low around 20. And tomorrow, probably sunny skies with a slight chance of rain and snow, especially in the afternoon. We'll see high around 40. I'm meteorologist Kyle Klecker from 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
This is On the Block with Strick and Austin. Nebraska Basketball Hall of Famer and 9-year NBA vet, Erick Strickland.
Strickland for three! And you're going to go out of here as the Big 8 tournament champion.
Middle school basketball coaching legend and Duke basketball shooting coach in his mind, Austin Orman. Coming at you live from the heart of Lincoln, America. On air and online at theticketfm.com. Brought to you by Mary Ellen's Food for the Soul. This is On the Block with Strick and Austin.
Hour 2 of the show on a Friday. Hope we're sending you off into your weekend on a great note. Appreciate you tuning in, however it is you are, whether you're in your car, driving home, driving to a meeting, driving to Mary Ellen's Food for the Soul, maybe a little bit of a late lunch. Maybe you're picking it up for dinner tonight. Let us know, 402-464-5685. That is the Sartor Heyman text line and the Honda of Lincoln hotline. Or if you're sitting at work, sitting at home, maybe you have the app pulled up on your phone. Don't forget it is free. It doesn't drop. It's a very consistent way to make sure you get our signal, even if you're not in the Lincoln area. Or maybe you're watching on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, or Twitter. If you are watching on any of those platforms, make sure you like the page, you follow, you subscribe, whatever it is that platform allows you to do, so you don't miss anything. You can go back, you can watch any of our broadcasts on those platforms. If you missed anything, if you want to double check something we said, call us out on it. Or, hey, if we get something right, say, hey, I went back and listened to that. You guys got that right. We appreciate that. Just let us know again, whether it's on the comment section of your respective stream or on our Sartor Heyman text line. All right, Stricky, let's get into it. Conference championship weekend. Which is the most exciting game to you before we dive into a little bit of a breakdown? As you look at this conference championship slate, which game's going to have your eyes the longest?
Oh, wow. I think the most intense game for me is going to be the Washington-Oregon game.
Mm-hmm.
I think because of the stakes of that game. I'm interested in second. I'd be interested in the Georgia-Alabama, being that with a 12-team playoff looming right now, when you look at the rankings as far as the championship, the college football championship rankings for the 4, there's no controversy in it. You have the best undefeated teams right now. So I'm looking for the controversy. If Alabama beats Georgia, do they knock Georgia out? And could Alabama leapfrog all of those positions to pop in? So those are the two that I'm very intently watching, because 1, it can create controversy. 2, the intensity of the game is there for me for that Oregon and Washington game.
Let's say everything goes chalk except the SEC. Georgia's favored by 5 was the final line that we got for happy hour. If Michigan wins, if Florida State wins, and it seems like we're set up for whoever wins the Pac-12 to get in, I think what ends up happening, Strick, is Bama gets in and Georgia gets in. They're the 3-4 and Florida State drops out.
That's if Alabama wins.
Yes.
Okay.
Even if Florida State wins, they're down to their maybe second string quarterback, probably their third string. And we'll talk to Andrew Alex more about that. That's the only way I see a conference getting 2 teams in, is if everything goes chalk except the SEC.
I think that a big win Texas could also leapfrog if everything goes as kosher. Like if everything plays out the way it plays out, Georgia wins, Michigan wins.
Doesn't matter on the Pac-12. One of them.
And if Florida State sneaks out a win, I still think a big win Texas will jump them.
That Alabama win will still carry some weight, more so than I think really any of Florida State wins. And hey, Eric, you got to be nice on the text line. Come on, man. He asked, you guys get things right? Come on. Every so often, right? I mean, blind squirrels find nut. We're not perfect.
We're just throwing scenarios out there.
Yeah, we're doing our best over here.
For me, you've got to play and look at other things, other angles, and consider them. I think you got to think about as well the human element of the voting process. I mean, if you're a team and you're a committee and you're driven as a committee towards the growth, next levels, the impact of what college football playoffs is and where it's going, you don't want a ailing dog to go into a pit bull fight.
No.
Right?
You don't.
Like, look, I'm not, listen, first, don't be writing the station or hitting up DP or anybody saying that Strick is advocating and being similar to Michael Vick or what. No, I'm not. I'm making an analogy.
Mm-hmm.
You don't, you want to put healthy people, healthy situation, whatever it is, you want to be able to go into it at full strength, right?
Mm-hmm.
I just don't think that Florida State, even without Jordan Travis,
Mm-hmm.
let alone the second, would be that's just like, I think the analogy I gave is San Francisco and
Philly
last year.
Mm-hmm.
That's not
similar
even fair,
colors
bro.
between Florida State and San Fran.
Yeah, it wasn't even fair.
Mm-hmm.
Like they were even thinking about freaking putting McCaffrey at quarterback until his dog, you could tell
Wonder if he would have been better at it than his brother.
His calf was struggling, so he just they had no answer. And so I would hate that the fans watching what a number one team, either Michigan or Georgia, would do.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even think it'd be right. But I understand it, and then it creates the controversy as to why we're expanding.
Mm-hmm.
And then, we'll see how it goes. But I just don't think that a Florida State team in that championship situation would have a chance. I don't.
If Florida State looks good, if Mike Norvell pulls something out of a hat and they look good, okay, credit to them. They can be in, because I think you have to balance who are the best teams, the healthiest teams, but also the most deserving teams.
Yeah.
An undefeated Power 5 conference champion has never once been left out of the playoff. Why do it now? Just because 1.5 players are hurt for Florida State? There's still 83, 84 other guys on scholarship that have worked for that moment and have earned it. But again, the marketing, the team is clearly different without Jordan Travis at the helm. So I think that'd be fascinating for the committee to weigh. I still think Florida State squeaks it out. I don't think it's pretty, but I was encouraged by their second half. Watch out for Louisville. I think they want to play spoiler.
Mm-hmm.
They know all the talks about Florida State, and Florida State is going to be motivated to prove they're more than Jordan Travis, but Louisville's going to be motivated to say, hey, we're here too. We're not getting in, but we're solid. You can't write us off.
Well, they can only go up. I mean, to win that game and not be in puts you in prime category for moolah for New Year's Six Bowl.
Yep.
Like, right?
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
So for them, they're looking at it from that standpoint. How can we land the bag? Go and get you a championship. That's how you do it.
Mm-hmm.
And be a spoiler at the same time. Luke on the Sutter Hammond text line says, what about the win Texas had over Bama, and what happens if Bama beats Georgia? That's what I was talking about.
Well, it depends on what happens with Texas.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about. I think Texas would leap first if Texas wins big and Alabama beats Georgia. I think they have a vying for the biggest leap into that point. So then you would have Michigan at number one, because I think Michigan's going to beat the brakes off Iowa. Michigan 1. Then you would move the Pac-12 into the 2 spot. And then I think they would have a case for if Georgia, depending on how bad they lose or what it looks like in their loss, Georgia might drop to 4, or they're going to jump one of those guys, Texas. And I personally believe, I just don't think they'll put Florida State at 3. Now, they may leave Florida State at 4 if they win, but I just don't know, man. I think Texas has the best chance of jumping.
Stricky,
if they win.
If you had to guess, how many ranked teams has Florida State beat this year?
That's the thing. I think 1.
It's 1.
Yeah.
Guess when it came?
Late.
Week 1.
Oh,
against
early.
LSU.
Oh, yeah. See,
that would be another reason, right? Yeah. I mean, Georgia's schedule, let's not pretend like it's been murderer's row, right? We talked about that coming into the year. The chances of Georgia running the table again were very high. Now, some teams popped up. Some teams fell back, as they always do. I still think Georgia's resume is slightly better than Florida State's. They're on a 29-game winning streak right now. I still think kind of like what we had with Clemson and Alabama, some of that residual respect is there for Georgia. They know the committee knows Georgia's still the most talented team in the country. If you look at, I get it, recruiting rankings don't factor in, but you trust Georgia's talent level. You trust their experience. They'll bring fans. They'll show up in a big game. There's still respect for the SEC. Unless Alabama just nukes them, I have a hard time seeing Georgia dropping out
below 4. Yeah,
I just do. Again, I'm not saying it's impossible, but I think the committee will find a way to poke a hole in Florida State before they find a way to poke a hole in Georgia.
I agree. And that's where the controversy, because then even if Alabama doesn't sneak back in at that point, but there'll be controversy because then Alabama will be saying, wait a minute, we lost early. We've been rolling. Yeah, everybody's going to say, well, but you barely beat Auburn. Okay. And I would have loved them Auburn to lose. Auburn to beat them because I'm born in Auburn, but at the same time, that's the thing that they're going to have in the discussion, in the debate. We beat them. How are we 5? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so that's going to create the controversy for the 12. I'm telling you, I feel that there's going to be something that's going to create some controversial thing that's going to lead everybody to say, this is why we're doing the 12. You know what I mean? It just seems like it always happened. It's always happened ever since going back to the original of the BCS. It started before that with Nebraska and Michigan. And then everybody was like, well, shoot, why don't they play? Well, you create the BCS system. Then the BCS comes out, and then it's rolling for a little bit. Then there's controversy. Why not this team? Why didn't that team get in it? And then it continued as we got into the college football playoffs. And I think that's going to end on the same note.
4610 on the Sarah Heyman text line. Again, 402-464-5685. If you have any thoughts, want to chime in on this conversation here, let us know. Says 2 things. First of all, Florida State, I have a hard time telling an undefeated team the only reason that they would deserve to be in the playoff is because of their quarterback. Yeah, that's what I was saying. I agree. It's hard to tell a team that, but I think that would be controversy. Like Strick is saying, I think that it would depend on if they went with the best team, because the Florida State without Jordan Travis is not one of the best teams that you want to see in a playoff, but they would be one of the most deserving because they ran the table, because they won a power conference. He also says, does the Pac-12 have a case for getting 2 teams in if Washington loses in a close game to Oregon? If Washington was your number 1 right now, there's a slim outside shot. Given that Washington's at number 3, the most likely scenario is those 2 flip-flop places.
Yep. That's the way I see it.
Then there's another question. How many ranked teams has Georgia played? It's a whopping 1 more than Florida State has. It was Ole Miss they hosted and Missouri they hosted in back-to-back weeks. Kentucky was kind of on the fringe of that. Tennessee was ranked for a while before Georgia went on the road and beat them. So, no, Georgia, again, like we said, hasn't played a great schedule either. But I think, again, with Jordan Travis being out, the committee would talk itself
benefit of the doubt
in circles. Let's throw this scenario out here. Nobody in Nebraska is rooting for this, but we do have to at least acknowledge the possibility. What if Michigan loses?
Ooh.
Is Michigan still in?
Negative.
Is Michigan out?
Out. If you lose to Iowa, get out and shut the door and don't worry about the way it hits you on the bottom half of your tush, right? Don't worry about that because it's not going to matter. You're just going to have a stinging butt and going down the road. You know what I mean? Go and pack your bags, wait till next year. Yeah, ow! Yeah. Tell me if I'm wrong.
Would they fall beneath Ohio State in the rankings, or would they stay ahead of Ohio State with the loss to Iowa?
I would say stay ahead of Ohio State.
Okay.
But they out. Quickly. They might drop to 5. I can see them drop to 5.
How big does Michigan have to beat Iowa to jump Georgia for number 1? Is that possible?
I don't think there's anything they can. I mean, I would say if they blasted them like 40-something to zip or to 3, yeah, now we can have a conversation.
How close does the Georgia-Bama game have to be? Do you give Georgia credit just for finding any way to beat Alabama, or does Georgia have to look convincing to stay at number 1?
I think they need some form of convincing, double-digit convincing.
Okay.
Not necessarily 20, 21 or 20 point convincing. I think at least double digit convincing, where there was like similar domination as the Auburn had against all. You can say yeah.
Any way the Pac-12 champ jumps Michigan? Is there any way that either Washington or Oregon gets to number 2 ahead of Michigan? Now, here's the thing. Most likely, it's Michigan 2, Pac-12 3. It's the same game. It's the same matchup, just different jersey color. Any way to, like, if Washington wins by 40 and Michigan wins by 10.
Ooh, that might be possible.
Because Washington would have double dipped on Oregon.
That might be possible. But I don't, if Oregon wins, no. Oregon's just going to be a flip-flop to 3. Because I even think that if Florida State wins and beats Louisville, I think they'll just leave them at 4 and let whoever, Georgia or Michigan, just wear them out. Unless there's controversy.
If Oregon wins and Florida State wins, let's say Texas loses and Bama loses. So it's Florida State and Oregon that would take those last 2 spots. Do you just move them both up 1 spot, or do you give Oregon the 3 ahead of Florida State?
I would give Oregon the 3.
Fair?
I would give Oregon the 3.
I think I'm with you.
Yeah, you would at least want a really good matchup. You wouldn't want that matchup to be in the semifinals.
Right.
You want one of the 2 to be the matchup in the final game. You wouldn't want that to happen in the semis.
You would not. Question on the text line here from Joe. Am I remembering this wrong? But with Washington, was Penix all that special at Indiana? I remember him being good, but not Heisman good. He definitely made a leap at Washington. He's with more playmakers and I think a better system. Michael Penix was that dude at Indiana. They had a really special year. I don't remember if that was 2019 or 2020.
Year, right? Yeah,
it would have been 2019 then. Right.
I think so.
Completed 70% of his passes, 10 touchdowns to 4 picks at Indiana. They gave Ohio State a scare early on. Michael Penix was special before he got hurt. Now he's showing just how good he can be with more playmakers around him. So, no, he wasn't going to win the Heisman in his first good season, but he didn't come out of nowhere. He wasn't some guy clinging to deer life. Michael Penix was good.
No question. Yeah, I like Michael Penix. I was just happy for him. And again, sometimes it's just a system. It's the location. It's a change of location. It doesn't matter what sport it is. Sometimes getting to a new location can be phenomenal. This is what we're looking. This is what we're hoping also for softball. Like Jordy Ball coming back home and just bringing that winning mentality and pedigree with her that can hopefully translate and move the confidence to the other players and take them to another level, right? I mean, we're not saying that's going to happen, but sometimes a change of location can do so many things for a specific player.
In college or
it can hurt. Yeah, it's either one or the other. It can either help or hurt. So yeah, I mean, let's. I'm going to be honest. I think one of the best moves for Hunter Dickinson was to get up out of Michigan at the time.
Good move for Michigan was to get Hunter Dickinson up out of there too, to some degree.
Yeah. So sometimes a guy can go to a whole nother level depending on what the situation. We see that already with Plummer going to Louisville.
Well, yeah,
we saw it even with DJ Uliangole.
Let's just run down the college football playoff rankings here, specifically at the quarterback position, because I think it's easier for quarterbacks to get that new lease on life and be in a better situation where they can play more. Georgia and Michigan, the top 2 teams, have quarterbacks that they recruited. Carson Beck bided his time.
He stayed.
He waited it out. He's been improving. He's been solid. I don't have any worries about him. J.J. McCarthy waited behind and then overtook Cade McNamara from Michigan. Florida State, same thing with Jordan Travis, right? He waited his time. He wasn't very good early on, but Florida State stuck with him. He stuck with Florida State. Unfortunate injury to end his college career, but it works out. Elsewhere in the top 10, you have Washington. They go get their transfer in Michael Penix. Oregon goes and gets their transfer. Oregon has dipped, Ohio State, I should say, has dipped in the transfer portal, but they stuck with their guy, Kyle McCord.
Texas.
Right or wrong decision, Texas got Ohio State's guy. Alabama stuck with Milroe. Missouri stuck with Brady Cook, and Penn State stuck with Aller. There's no right or wrong way to do it. The right thing is to go get a really good quarterback. The wrong thing is to get the wrong quarterback. It's just that simple, really.
It's just that simple. It's really that simple.
It's reductionist, I know, but that's just what it comes down to. Let's keep this conversation going. Let's throw some hypotheticals out to Andrew Alex of 24/7 Sports. We'll get him on the horn, talk some college football playoffs, some ACC, and just general picture with him when we get back.
At Koppel Chevrolet GMC, we are thankful for so many things this year, starting with our great employees, a generous community, our military personnel, and most importantly, our loyal customer base that continues to drive that money-saving mile of Louisville. Hi, this is Sean Callahan, and on behalf of everybody at Koppel, we want to wish you a happy Thanksgiving and safe travels to wherever they may take you. Happy holidays from Koppel Chevrolet GMC.
Are you looking for some holiday fun? This year, start a new tradition. Make the Nebraska Christmas Light Show experience an annual event for your family and a cherished memory to look forward to every year. From Black Friday to January 3rd, buckle up and tune into the rhythm of the lights and let the magic of Christmas take over with the show. Now located at Star City Shores, just off of 27th and Highway 2. Buy your tickets for just $20 or $25 per car today at NebraskaChristmasLightShow.com.
Your home is your empire. Protect it with Empire Fence. Get a free instant quote with the online estimating tool at empire-fence.com. See an upfront estimate with no hidden fees. An Empire Fence can provide privacy and improve the appearance of your home. Keep kids and pets in or out of your yard. Increase security and add value to your property. Visit empire-fence.com now to view the stylish and maintenance-free possibilities for your home and get a free instant online quote. Let Empire Fence protect your empire.
Problem gambling affects millions of Americans daily, of all ages and walks of life. If your loved one is struggling with addiction, contact Choices Treatment Center's 24-hour helpline at 402-476-2300. That's 402-476-2300.
At Allo, we believe in the exceptional. From extraordinary whole home coverage to super fast speeds, our local teams are always on hand to make sure your service is running at top performance. Let go of lag, banish buffering, and enjoy outstanding service throughout your entire home. We believe in delivering nothing less than exceptional service, so that's exactly what we do. Visit us at allofiber.com to experience the exceptional.
A team succeeds when they work together. Banking's no different. At UBT, we're in your corner for every financial move you want to make. Your money's backed by a roster of experts who put in the work to know you and your community. So whether you're opening a savings account, buying a home, or planning your future, you always know who to turn to. Working together toward your financial goals. That's a win in our playbook. Union Bank and Trust. Equal housing lender, member FDIC.
Gray Diesel and Equipment Services is your go-to place in Lincoln for repairs and maintenance for diesel pickups to Class 8 over-the-road trucks and trailers, from bumper pole utility to full-size semi. Gray performs DOT inspections and are a service provider for fleet companies like ARI, Element Fleet, and FleetNet. They're a family-owned business in operation since 1952, and they keep a clean, friendly shop. Customer service is their top priority. Give Gray Diesel and Equipment Services a visit today, with easy access just off I-80 and North 56th Street.
Leaves are falling and the temperatures are cooling down. But don't put your golf clubs away. Double Eagle Golf makes golf leagues and events possible year-round. Leagues are underway with winter leagues beginning on November 27th. Check out their deals on monthly memberships and schedule your Husker watch parties, birthday or bachelor parties, corporate and team outings, or just a good old Saturday with the boys. That's all at Double Eagle Golf inside the Kinetic Sports Complex on West O Street. Book a tee time today or learn more at Double Eagle Golf.
It's the best time of the year to order a new John Deere self-propelled windrower from Landmark Implement during the early order program. Hay harvest is a race against time. Order a new John Deere self-propelled windrower to harvest your hay quickly and efficiently while promoting quick dry down for high-quality hay. Now is the time to lock in the best price of the year. Contact your local Landmark location for full details on a new self-propelled windrower and experience the Landmark difference.
Integrated Life Choices has been inspiring opportunities for individuals with disabilities for more than 15 years in Lincoln and across Nebraska by offering a number of services. From group homes to independent living resources and job training, you'll find the support that allows people to live fulfilling lives. They're also hiring. If you're looking for a rewarding career supporting people with developmental disabilities, you can check out open positions along with learning more about services at ilc.net. Integrated Life Choices.
Now back to On the Block with Strick and Austin on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
We're here on the block, half an hour to go in the show before we're off to our weekend. Hope you all have some great plans. Hope it includes some college football watching with conference championship weekend. Also hope it includes a Nebraska basketball win over Creighton. We go now to our VIP line brought to you by Aloe Fiber, where they understand the importance of exceptional service with local heart. We welcome in Andrew Alex of 24/7 Sports, covering a lot with Virginia Tech. Andrew, we're there. We made it to championship weekend, but before we get to that matchup and others across the country, how did we do with our bowl predictions for the ACC? How many teams at the bottom at the 5-win mark ended up making it?
Austin and Strick, first of all, thank you as always for having me on. It is a pleasure. And going back to our conversation from, I guess it was now 2 weeks ago, I was spot on. Everything that I said would happen happened exactly the way that I thought it would.
Yeah, right.
No, seriously. Virginia Tech lost to NC State and then beat UVA. And then I guess it was Syracuse needed 2 wins.
Mm-hmm.
I know they got the last one against Wake. And yeah. So yeah, we can go to the tape, but I think I said they'd lose to Georgia Tech and to beat Wake Forest.
Here's the thing. We won't go to the tape. We have you on for a reason because we know you get things right. So we're going to take your word for it. Job very well done on that. But let's talk the championship matchup here between Florida State and Louisville. Interesting matchup, I think, between these two teams. Florida State down at least to number 2 quarterback Tate Rodemaker, if not down to its number 3 quarterback. Andrew, Strick and I have been having this discussion. Let's say Florida State wins, but it's a close game. Do you see the committee poking holes in Florida State's resume and leaving them out, or will an undefeated Power 5 champion get into the playoff like it has every time before?
I don't think that they will. I mean, I can definitely see the logic, and I can see why fans of teams that would also be competing for that same spot could try to make a compelling argument that FSU wasn't the same team, without Jordan Travis. But that being said, they went with Tate Rodemaker and they beat the University of Florida. Obviously not a great team, but it's an SEC caliber roster. And ultimately, what's the point of playing the regular season in a Power 5 conference? You win all your games. You beat LSU and Florida in the process, 2 pretty strong non-conference games. If you go down the list of teams that are bowl eligible, they beat Miami bowl eligible, Duke when Duke was good with Riley Leonard, beat it pretty handily, Syracuse, Virginia Tech, Clemson, Boston College, and none of those games were particularly close, right? So I think that ultimately you have to honor the resume and overall what they did during the season. But that being said, I'm not naive enough or an ACC homer enough to think that a Jordan Travis-less Florida State would stand. I mean, I think that with Travis, they could hang in there. I'd still probably put them as 10 to 14 point underdogs against a Michigan. But if we're down to string number 3, the favorite should take care in that game. I'm actually attending the ACC championship game here in a couple days in my home city now of Charlotte, North Carolina. So I'll be boots on the ground to see what this banged up Florida State team looks like.
Anything else on the football front you got?
Yeah, I was going to throw out.
I'm going to transition to the basketball.
With Louisville, year 1 under Jeff Brohm, he comes back to where he played. What do you make of the job that he did and the Cards getting to the ACC championship in year 1 under him?
It's been an impressive job, right? And I don't want to make it seem like the cupboard was totally left bare at Louisville. He didn't inherit what would be defined as a total dumpster fire. But ultimately, this was a Louisville team that didn't project to do well, or didn't project, at least with the roster they had last year, to find themselves in this position this year. And the reason they've been able to do that is not only, number 1, the coaching of Jeff Brohm, but number 2, his ability to use the transfer portal to his advantage. Their number 1 wide receiver, Jamari Thrash, team leader in touchdowns, team leader in receiving yards. 4 years at Georgia State prior to this. You look at a guy like Jawar Jordan. He was there last year, but taking a big step forward, a player that's developed. of course, under center, Jack Plummer, a guy that Brom was not unfamiliar with, right? He played for Brom under Purdue, ultimately lost that starting job to Aiden O'Connell. He transfers out when he knows he's not the starter anymore, ends up at Cal, and then ends up transferring back to Jeff Brom in a new role. What lesson does that teach us in the world of college football these days? In the transfer portal era, you got to maintain positive relationships no matter what happens. But all those guys have been really key to getting Louisville to a point where they're fast, they're physical, and given the circumstances, I think they might be able to give Florida State a little bit of trouble.
That seems to be the case from what the odds makers are saying. Let's move away from the conference championship game here for just a couple questions. Let's start with North Carolina and the Tar Heels. Drake May hasn't officially declared, but they go out and they get Max Johnson out of the transfer portal from Texas A&M. Pretty good sign that Drake May is going to go, obviously as high as he is on draft boards as well. What do you make of Carolina's season? Is this just what that program is? Get some hype, get to 9-3, and that's good. What's the outlook for Mac Brown now?
The outlook for Mac Brown, I'll say, going into the 2021 season, it was all sunshine and roses at Carolina, right? They had been in a really bad place under Coach Larry Fedora prior, and Brown, who had been with them, obviously, he had great success with them back in like the 90s, and then went on and won a national championship with Texas, was retired. It was like, if there's anyone that can revive this program and get it back to where it needs to be, it's going to be him. And on the recruiting trail, they have done tremendously. And in terms of offensive talent, they have done tremendously. Obviously, like, you have Drake May right now. Prior to that, you had Sam Howell. Those are two NFL likely starting quarterbacks in 2024. And then Javonte Williams in the backfield, Michael Carter, Josh Downs. I can keep going on and on and on. The results haven't been there. The name of the game for Carolina football has been getting gashed on defense and losing winnable games, especially in the second half of the season. And I'll tell you this, guys. I just watched Virginia Tech, who is in year 2 of a rebuild with a little bit of a ways to go, absolutely pummel UVA. There is no reason that a team with the talent that North Carolina has should be losing to a team like UVA under any circumstances. That speaks to bad discipline and a program that's a little bit out of control. So if on today, December 1st, Mac Brown is still, as we know, the coach of Carolina, well, then he's going to be there next year. I have a feeling, though, that given his age and given the results, they're going to be looking to transition and essentially make a retirement decision for him unless things really go swimmingly next year.
Let's move just down Tobacco Road a little ways. Duke became the second AC team in as many years to have its starting quarterback poached by Notre Dame. And of course, Duke's head coach Mike Elko leaves. He's now at Texas A&M. What's the outlook for the Blue Devils, and will Notre Dame start recruiting its own quarterbacks for once? Or are they just going to keep digging back into the ACC where they have their scheduling partnership for their quarterback on a year-to-year basis?
Yeah, I mean, Marcus Freeman's got a pretty good gig, right? He doesn't even need to go to high schools anymore. He just needs to go play teams throughout the season, and when he sees someone that his defense has trouble with in the handshake line at the end of the game, he'll just say, hey, we'll give you $1 million next year if you want to come play for us. So, yeah, I mean, times are a little bit tough at Duke. Obviously, Mike Elko did with that program in a very, very short period of time what not a lot of people thought, not a lot of coaches are capable of doing, just generally speaking. Certainly not with a Duke program that was where it was in its final year under David Cutcliffe, right? They were down bad and not a huge recruiting class. They didn't have Riley Leonard, who at the time we did not know was as good as he actually is. But for Riley Leonard, good for you, man. You're a millionaire. I get it, especially if you're not like a top-tier NFL prospect. Take the Sam Hartman route. Take the money. Take the opportunity. And if you show up, the NFL will still be there probably in the exact same capacity as late-round pick, undrafted free agent at the end of the year next year. For Duke, for the second time in, I guess, since 2021. They're in their coaching search, and it's obviously probably one of the most difficult places in Power 5 college football to win. So you need to find a guy that fits that mold. And, you're not going to be like a recruiting powerhouse, right? Like Syracuse went out and hired, and I forget the guy's name.
Fran Brown.
Flipping off the top. What was that?
Fran Brown.
Fran Brown, exactly. Fran Brown was, the number one recruiter in the Northeast, one of the number one recruiters in the country, but he was doing it for Georgia, right? Syracuse isn't going to be that team that's going to be getting those recruits one way or the other. You need to find a guy like a Dave Clawson or kind of like what Mike Elko did at Duke, who can get the most out of his talent. That's a scheme guy. That's a football guy. So you want to point and find a coach that's won everywhere that he's gone. Kind of like closer to you guys' example, Lance Leipold.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm Duke, I am throwing everything that I possibly can at the wall to try to get Willie Fritz. Now, there might be some competition there, but that is their ideal scenario in my mind. But to fill the shoes of Cutcliffe, who revived the program from as low as it could possibly be, and then Elko, who had immediate success, it's going to take a special person, and I don't know if that special person necessarily got their eyes on Duke.
Let's shift real quick, for the ACC in basketball at this point, right? Clemson's off to a wonderful start, 6-0 at this point. North Carolina has looked good as well in their start. You've got your traditionals, the ones that have been having success, looking pretty good to start. Miami Hurricanes off to a wonderful start. Obviously, the Duke Blue Devils are not probably at the start that they had hoped for, but they're still looking pretty good and strong in the top 10. So who do you think, as you've kind of caught some of the early games, who's your dark horse for the ACC this year, and who do you think ultimately is your top three that's as the things pan out?
Well, Strick, to answer the second part of the question, just from a sheer talent perspective, I think the top three probably shakes out to be, the three teams that find themselves in the top 25 rankings. Number one being Miami, because that is a disciplined team, and I think that Jim Larinaga might be the most underrated coach in Division I college basketball, right? They got, not maybe as many returning massive contributors, but you do have Nigel Pack back on that team. And, this kid, Wooga Poplar has really emerged for Miami. Kind of a bench player in years past, taking that big step forward. So I like the Canes. And then, of course, the Duke of North Carolina, right? Like, you got all the talent in the world. A name that you guys might recognize from Notre Dame, Cormac Ryan, 4-year starter. He's back. But he's back in college basketball, but now he's playing for North Carolina. Armando Bacot and RJ Davis, two guys that were in that starting lineup when North Carolina took Kansas to the national championship game. Those guys are both there too. Now, can Hubert Davis keep them all together for the entirety of the season? We haven't seen that yet, but with two of the top talents in college basketball on the roster, I have a hard time believing they won't. And yes, Strick, when it comes to Duke, the loss to Arkansas the other night, that's not what Duke was going for. Now, they will have one more opportunity in the non-con for redemption when they take on Baylor. I believe that game is going to be at Madison Square Garden or either MSG or the Barclays Center, the game they played in New York. But with the amount of talent that Duke has, and something that Duke hasn't had, and maybe this will play to their advantage in NIL, returning talent, right? You can now make that argument to their top recruits. You don't need to go, be like a mid-round pick and end up in the G League because you're 19. Just come back and play. So Duke has their top four guys, that being Flakowski, Jeremy Roach, Tyrese Proctor, and Mark Mitchell, all with experience in the program. I've told you guys before, my dad's a Duke alum. I grew up a huge fan of the Duke basketball program, and it has been a long time, like almost 10 years now, it seems, since Duke at the top was experienced in any regard. So I believe in John Shire as a coach, and I think that team, when it comes to ACC play, will make a run. In terms of your dark horse, I mean, like you mentioned Clemson, but I do think that's a team that's going to hang in there, right? And it's a big year for Brad Brownell, so they have to put their recent win over Alabama on the road. That'll be a big one. PJ Hall, center there, one of the most frustrating Virginia Tech recruiting losses since my time following the team. His dad was a Virginia Tech alum. He ultimately chose to go to Clemson, and he's just a tremendous big man down low, averaging over 20 points a game right now. Clemson seems like a tournament team. Obviously, you got to have trust in Virginia. Tony Bennett's a great coach. Whether they'll get bounced in the first round or not, well, that remains to be seen, and I always enjoy seeing it happen. But I'd put them in. And then there's a lot of teams with question marks, right? Like, Virginia Tech is a team with the talent to make the tournament. But when you've already lost you've lost 3 games. And they have a big win over Iowa State. But getting embarrassed on the road at Auburn, that doesn't speak well to it. So for these ACC teams, right, when it comes to actually making the NCAA tournament, it's about finding yourself as a team early on, trying not to lose too many games in the non-con in the process. And then, if you can get 20 wins in the ACC, you should be good, right? But that usually requires not losing more than 5 games in the non-con and then a winning record in the conference. So still a lot of basketball left to play, but I don't think, though the ACC is not as powerful as it once was, I do think there are some contenders in there, certainly at the top nationally, and then in the middle to at least make the tournament.
Andrew, I'm curious to monitor Pitt moving forward, but I think my eyes will mostly be on Louisville and everything that's happening and not happening in that program. I'm sure you heard the comments from Kenny Payne about the player that didn't want to go in the game, didn't want to play because they didn't have the right tights that Louisville never had. Does Kenny Payne have the rest of the year to get things going at Louisville, or do you think that he's, got a warm enough seat already that if things, keep going the way they are, Louisville could be looking for a new coach sooner than later?
I mean, if it looks anything like, I don't think they'll allow last year to happen again, right? Like there has to be at least moderate improvement for Louisville, and is the way that things look, is that necessarily automatic? Probably not. I mean, getting things started with the loss to Chattanooga at home is certainly not what they were going for over there. I mean, Sunday will be a big test for them, right? You get your first ACC game. It's against Virginia Tech. I just kind of described Virginia Tech there before. A good team, a team that probably can win some games in the ACC. Not a world beater by any means. If Virginia Tech goes out there and beats them by like 20 points, number one, that doesn't spell well for the overall talent on the roster for Louisville. And number two, I think that would be the first sound of the alarm that, Kenny Payne could be a guy who doesn't make it the entire season. Just crazy to me that Louisville could find themselves this low on the basketball court, given the history and tradition there.
Yeah.
I'm with you on that one. Andrew Alex is 24/7 Sports with us here on our Allo VIP line. Enjoy your trip to the ACC Championship game. Hopefully we can chat about it next week. Andrew, thanks as always, man.
Yeah, let's recap it all. Enjoy a very important, in almost every single game, championship weekend, and I'll look forward to talking to you guys soon.
All right.
There he is, Andrew Alex, with us again on our VIP line, brought to you by Allo Fiber, where they understand the importance of exceptional service with local heart. Stricky, there's just still so much optimism that Florida State, A, wins and B, gets in the playoff. It makes sense, but I still just don't know. I just have this funny feeling about the Seminoles.
I agree. And it comes down to what we've been talking about, especially with the Huskers, the reasons as to why. Yeah. It could have been a totally different situation had the quarterback situation. It works across the board. They not having a top tier quarterback at their disposal puts everything at risk to falling down like you're playing Jenga.
Right.
You didn't build it up. You got to pull it out the right way. Otherwise, everything comes toppling down. And I just don't know if you're getting into a third quarter, unless this quarterback is like Brock Purdy, where he just was somebody that was under the radar, nobody knew, and he's a gamer, and he just comes in there and just you're like, wait a minute, we got something here. You know, you found a gem of a situation. Otherwise, he would have probably been further up the depth chart, right? That's where I feel the same way about you, because it comes down to quarterback play. When you get into these big games, it's going to come down to quarterback play.
I do want to ask Andrew next week, too, about Florida State men's basketball. Leonard Hamilton, I think one of the more underrated coaches in recent college basketball history. Haven't done much homework on the Noles. Don't know much about him, so definitely want Andrew's thoughts on that. We'll get those next week again after he's at the ACC Championship game tomorrow. Let's talk to Jay Foreman. He'll cross it over with us, get you set up for Old School One on the other side.
Brown Shoe Fit has all types of shoes for you to excel this fall. Check out their large variety of tennis shoes and dress shoes in brands like Brooks, Hoka, Merrell, On, and many more. Browns has the local professionals to get the proper fit, aided by their high-tech foot scanner by Aetrex. Stop by Brown Shoe Fit today, just south of 66th and Q in Lincoln, or check out their options online at brownshoefitco.com.
Problem gambling affects millions of Americans daily, of all ages and walks of life. If your loved one is struggling with addiction, contact Choices Treatment Center's 24-hour helpline at 402-476-2300. That's 402-476-2300.
This holiday season, recharge with the Planet Fitness Black Card for just $1 down and $24.99 a month. So instead of fighting a stranger in the mall over a stuffed T-Rex, bring a friend for free and work out on the TRX. Instead of freezing in line for a lame holiday deal, relax in the Black Card Spa with some hydro massage feels. Instead of being trapped at your in-laws, escape to any of our 2,400 Planet Fitness locations. Sign up today for the Planet Fitness Black Card. Just $1 down and $24.99 a month. Cancel anytime. Deal ends November 30th. See Club for details.
Today's agenda includes office meetings this morning, followed by a client lunch, then back to the office for another meeting, and ending the day with a presentation at a client's office. When you are on the go, you need an office phone that goes with you. At Hamilton, our business phone systems make it easy to sync your office phone features to your cell phone for quick and seamless call handling, no matter where you work. If your current office phone can't do this, you need better. Hire your local experts. Hire Hamilton at hamiltonisbusiness.com.
Integrated Life Choices has been inspiring opportunities for individuals with disabilities for more than 15 years in Lincoln and across Nebraska by offering a number of services. From group homes to independent living resources and job training, you'll find the support that allows people to live fulfilling lives. They're also hiring. If you're looking for a rewarding career supporting people with developmental disabilities, you can check out open positions along with learning more about services at ilc.net. Integrated Life Choices.
It's the best time of the year to order a new John Deere self-propelled windrower from Landmark Implement during the early order program. Hay harvest is a race against time. Order a new John Deere self-propelled windrower to harvest your hay quickly and efficiently while promoting quick dry down for high-quality hay. Now is the time to lock in the best price of the year. Contact your local Landmark location for full details on a new self-propelled windrower and experience the Landmark difference.
If you're not going to Memorial Stadium for a home game and don't have any travel plans for away games, there's a great place in Omaha to catch the action, the Inner Rail Food Hall. There's plenty of space. The Backstretch Bar has amazing game specials on game days. $15 Blue Moon and Bud Light pitchers, $6 margaritas, and $6 Moscow Mules. And if you're hungry, take in some of their great options from their game day pizza specials. Do football game day right in the Inner Rail Food Hall in Exarban Village in Omaha.
Are you looking for some holiday fun? This year, start a new tradition. Make the Nebraska Christmas Light Show experience an annual event for your family and a cherished memory to look forward to every year. From Black Friday to January 3rd, buckle up and tune into the rhythm of the lights and let the magic of Christmas take over with the show. Now located at Star City Shores, just off of 27th and Highway 2. Buy your tickets for just $20 or $25 per car today at NebraskaChristmasLightShow.com.
Leaves are falling and the temperatures are cooling down. But don't put your golf clubs away. Double Eagle Golf makes golf leagues and events possible year-round. Leagues are underway with winter leagues beginning on November 27th. Check out their deals on monthly memberships and schedule your Husker watch parties, birthday or bachelor parties, corporate and team outings, or just a good old Saturday with the boys. That's all at Double Eagle Golf inside the Kinetic Sports Complex on West O Street. Book a tee time today or learn more at Double Eagle Golf.
Get rid of pesky critters once and for all with Bats to Rats. Their expert team is here to help you reclaim your home. No more sleepless nights caused by crawling critters or flapping wings.
Bats to Rats ensures a safe environment for every family member. Check the website at batstoRats.com for amazing offers. And if you mention this ad, you'll receive $10 off your initial inspection cost. Don't allow uninvited guests to take over your home. Trust Bats to Rats for a peaceful and rodent-free living space.
Tailored Lights is your go-to local manufacturer and installer of the best landscape lighting. Tailored Lights is excited to highlight the architecture of your home or business and provide a warm environment that feels safe. And for those outside the Lincoln area, they do ship across the country and are happy to work with anyone near or far with lights anywhere from 18 inches to 110 inches. Enhance your curb appeal with an exquisite Tailored Light today. Call 402-432-2572 or go to tailoredlights.com.
At Allo, we believe in the exceptional. From extraordinary whole home coverage to super fast speeds, our local teams are always on hand to make sure your service is running at top performance. Let go of lag, banish buffering, and enjoy outstanding service throughout your entire home. We believe in delivering nothing less than exceptional service, so that's exactly what we do. Visit us at allofiber.com to experience the exceptional.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Brought to you by Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
The Lincoln forecast for today, expecting cloudy skies. A few sprinkles and flurries are possible throughout the day. Otherwise, we'll see high around 37. Tonight, probably cloudy with a low of around 20. And tomorrow, probably sunny skies with a slight chance of rain and snow, especially in the afternoon. We'll see high around 40. I'm meteorologist Kyle Klecker from 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Now back to On the Block with Strick and Austin on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Back one final time here on the block. Austin Norman, Erick Strickland, joined by Jay Foreman. All right, you guys are both former Huskers, so I'm going to throw this out to you. You might have seen the story that there was a Longhorn cow killed on Oklahoma State's campus, put in front of one of the frat houses there ahead of the Big 12 championship game. Let's say, back in your college days, you walked by a frat during Colorado week and you saw they had a dead buffalo sitting out front. Would that get you hyped? Would you be like, what are y'all doing?
Oh man, that's
what
wild.
would you do? Who was your big rival? Kansas?
No, I mean Missouri was the one that was wild.
See a tiger on someone's front lawn, get you hype, or
like,
what's going on there?
Nah, I'm like, y'all bugging. Like y'all are next level mental issues. Like for real.
That's too
crazy.
much.
That's
far.
Crazy, bro.
Yeah, that's way too much. I don't think I mean it takes that's not even a fan. That's a sick person to do something like that.
Yeah.
A lunatic.
You're trying to that's what a fan is short for fanatic, but
sure.
That's not, you couldn't even convince me that you were doing it for the cause. You know what I mean? Like, hey, I'm so excited. Like it ain't that serious.
First of all, those things aren't cheap because they're the ones that breed the next, next generation.
Well, yeah,
you didn't transport it. You didn't.
Several
cameras
thousands
are
of
everywhere.
dollars.
Yeah, no question. That's trouble. That's troubling.
Yeah, it's definitely went too far, and hopefully, I mean, really, to be honest with you, just hope that they get caught, and then you don't get any more notoriety because you don't want somebody else, killing the eagle or something like that. Yeah. Stupidity sometimes multiplies.
It's one thing when, like, was it Auburn, Alabama? The tree got poisoned.
Yeah,
at
I was
one
just
point.
about to say that.
Like, yeah, that's not good. Hopefully, there weren't any environmental effects after that. But that's a tree. Trees can grow back. Not the same tree, but you can't get the cow back. That one made no sense to me.
It made no sense to me. That's wild. Ooh, I couldn't even imagine what that. Just the thought of what you had to do that.
You had to be proud of it.
No. The tree was stupid. All right, it was kind of you can see it's more intense, but you taking
you can see stealing like the horseshoe or something,
right? Yeah,
you
do something like that.
You can see, that's all in fun and games.
Or like when you have homecoming, you sneak over at the field and TP the field or do something. You know what I'm saying? This is way too far.
Let's pause 10 seconds for station identification here on 93.7 The Ticket.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com.
On the internet.
KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
Gino on the text line says, "Yo, Strick, sit down, Norm. Sit down, Norm."
Yeah, that used to be. Yeah, that was rowdy. And then sometimes they'd wear the weird jackets. Because Norm used to wear some weird jackets with like all these polka dots and different squares.
Craig Sager style.
Yeah, he would wear, and they would go all in on him. Those were some fun Nebraska crowds that we used to have, man. But the Antlers were wild. Like the stuff that they would find out, what is it called? Opposition research that they would do. That was the craziest group. And they actually had to ban them. They got so wild. Whoa. Yeah. They banned the Antlers. They got so wild. They was doing some wild stuff, bro. Like they used to tease Coach Nee, and because of, there was allegedly some speculation on some things, between
that's what y'all was
wife and one of the players. There was some words out there, and they were showing pictures of the guy that everybody was saying it was, and then they was having Danny Nee ties, and they were all kinds of they were having like him, like he was hanging himself on his Danny. They were wilding, bro. The Antlers were wild.
But did that make you
I mean, that got us hyped.
Okay.
I felt like the reason we ended up making that run was attributed, I think, to the loss we had, because that Missouri team that had like Melvin Booker's, which
right.
is
Devin
Booker's dad. He was their point guard.
Right.
And they had like Javon Crudup. He ends up getting drafted by Dallas. They had a really strong team, right? Young and old, and they were 13-0. And we beat them. Like it was a call to this date that I don't think I've ever seen, which is a block charge call. And because I took a charge on Melvin Booker, they called one. So the guy on spot called the charge.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
The trail guy on the opposite side runs in and calls a block, which created a controversy. I think they ended up shooting free throws, and Pike missed like a Steph Curry, like 40-footer, and it rolls in and out. And that's the maddest I've seen Danny Nee outside of yelling at us, where he banged on the referee. Like he literally went to the referee's door, banged on it, and was like, and Danny cursed. He like a sailor. Danny cursed him out, and we was mad and we was anxious and upset because they should not have went 13-0. That was an L,
right,
that we should have had. And then we ended up beating the brakes off of them in the Big 8 tournament. Like we was like, yeah, we coming for y'all. We beat the brakes off. We ran them up out the gym, and
it was worth it.
Hung out with their cheerleading.
Hey, no, we
gonna have Bruce Chubbuck call in. Bruce Chubbuck and I went out the night before and hung out with the
cheerleading
Missouri dance squad.
Get Bruce for Monday.
I'm gonna have to get Bruce on. I'm gonna see if I can get Bruce.
Get him down here.
Bruce will
Bring
tell
him
the
with you.
story.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, me and Bruce, we was out at what's it called, Westport.
Oh, that's in Kansas City.
That's where the tournament.
I got you. Yeah.
The Big 8 tournament used to be at Kansas City, and we was down there at Westport, and me and Bruce was in there wilding.
I don't know if I should tell you this or not, but Missouri is in town. Their volleyball team staying just down the block.
Might have to go over to the.
That's why I didn't want to say that. That's why I didn't want to say it.
Psych jokes, everybody. God, we're just going into the weekend with jokes. But that was fun times, though, man. Some of the crowds were off the chain. Even Oklahoma State, like it was like they were on top of you,
right?
At Mo Gallagher, it was like
that's a vertical seat.
Yeah, it goes straight up, and they're like, and rowdy.
Yeah,
fun times.
What we got on Old School, Jay?
Oh, we got the special guest. We got Jason Peters popping in for at least an hour. We're gonna ask him about the ins and outs of playing defensive line, 3-3-5, Husker season. And ask him about his college football playoffs, who he likes to pick. I'm also going to ask him about the newly awarded Nebraska High School Player of the Year, about what he thinks about the Rizak twins, but in particularly the quarterback.
There you go. That'll be Old School coming up next year on 93.7 The Ticket. Stricky, have yourself a good weekend. I'll see you for post-game Nebraska Creighton. Mama, there goes that man pointing again. Pointing us to Old School.
It'd be
back
better
after
when they
this.
start pointing back at you.
If you're not going to Memorial Stadium for a home game and don't have any travel plans for away games, there's a great place in Omaha to catch the action, the Inner Rail Food Hall. There's plenty of space. The Backstretch Bar has amazing game specials on game days. $15 Blue Moon and Bud Light pitchers, $6 margaritas, and $6 Moscow mules. And if you're hungry, take in some of their great options from their game day pizza specials. Do football game day right in the Inner Rail Food Hall in Exarban Village in Omaha.
Brown Shoe Fit has all types of shoes for you to excel this fall. Check out their large variety of tennis shoes and dress shoes in brands like Brooks, Hoka, Merrell, On, and many more. Browns has the local professionals to get the proper fit, aided by their high-tech foot scanner by Atrex. Stop by Brown Shoe Fit today, just south of 66th and Q in Lincoln, or check out their options online at brownshoefitco.com.
Services is hiring and seeking motivated applicants. Gray offers a second-to-none benefit package that includes health, dental, vision, 401k, paid vacation, and paid holidays. They offer great pay and tuition reimbursement or a tool purchase program for qualified candidates. It's a fun, friendly team with lots of variety and work assignments, so there's something for everybody. View and apply for their job openings today at grayusa.com or visit them in person just off I-80 and North 56th Street. Come be a part of the Gray difference.
Problem gambling affects millions of Americans daily, of all ages and walks of life. If your loved one is struggling with addiction, contact Choices Treatment Center's 24-hour helpline at 402-476-2300. That's 402-476-2300.
Are you tired of living in pain? It's time to take control. At Prairie Orthopedic and Plastic Surgery, we're your one-stop shop for expert care in